All right, he went to Morehouse. He got his law degree from Emory. He went on to a distinguished legal career in the great state of New Jersey that included him being county counsel, top lawyer in the county government for the most populous county in New Jersey. He became a judge in New Jersey, highly respected, distinguished, not a blemish anywhere on his record. And at the beginning of 2015, February 2015, President Obama nominated him to the federal court. His name is Julian Xavier Niels. And that judicial nomination for President Obama was like basically a gimme, right? Like I said, distinguished record, not a word against him, sort of an ideal candidate for the job, utterly non-controversial. They held his confirmation hearing in the United States Senate in 2015 after President Obama nominated him. And the confirmation hearing went great. He sailed through, no objections. The Judiciary Committee is where they hold confirmation hearings in the Senate. They decided on Julian Niels' nomination by a voice vote. They didn't even bother taking a roll call vote. They just did all in favor, aye, no objections. Pass him through for his floor vote in the Senate, and then he can become a federal judge. That was in November 2015. Zero controversy about him. He passes out a committee with zero objections. That sets up what is expected to be, what in normal circumstances would be a totally non-controversial vote on him in the full Senate to confirm him to the court. But that never happens. The committee has his hearing and passes him through on a voice vote with no objections, November 2015, but there's no floor vote. Then December 2015 comes around, nothing happens, no floor vote. We roll into January 2016, nothing happening, no floor vote. President Obama, of course, was in the White House, but in the Senate, that was controlled by Mitch McConnell and the Republicans. And what Mitch McConnell and the Republicans did when they controlled the Senate is they just refused to consider President Obama's nominees to be judges. They just refused to allow votes on Obama nominees. So the seats would just stay empty. Republicans in the Obama era decided that a Democratic president, like, for example, President Barack Obama, he didn't deserve to nominate federal judges to the bench. He wouldn't get to do that because he's a Democrat. And Republican senators decided they wouldn't confirm judges nominated by a Democratic president. They would only confirm judges nominated by a Republican president. And so for that reason and that reason alone, Julian Niels, this distinguished, non-controversial lawyer and judge from New Jersey, he sails through the substantive part of his confirmation process. He gets confirmed by the committee, the Judiciary Committee, on a voice vote, but then the Republicans just let him languish. They refuse to vote to confirm him on the Senate floor. They refuse to vote to confirm him or not. They refuse to hold any vote on him whatsoever for nearly 700 days. For the whole rest of the Obama presidency, they won't vote on him. They hold his nomination until Trump gets elected. And then they drop it. When Trump was elected, Republicans, having held open judicial seats that way in courts all over the country, once Trump got elected, they turned on a dime. And the Republicans in the Senate raced to put Trump-nominated judges on the courts in such quantity and at such a pace that they nearly sprained something. I mean, they did nothing anywhere near as fast and effectively as they confirmed Trump-nominated judges. Trump got nearly as many appeals court judges onto the federal bench in his scandal-ridden 4 years in office as other presidents did who had 2 whole terms and 8 whole years to do it. They absolutely stuffed the courts full of Trump judges. Well, today, 139 days into the Joe Biden presidency, 139 days, 4.5 months into Joe Biden being president and the Senate being controlled by the Democrats, today, finally, Julian Niels got his confirmation vote on the floor of the Senate. President Obama nominated him for the job more than 6 years ago. Republicans raised no actual objections to his nomination, but they nevertheless refused to hold a vote to confirm him. President Biden, when he became president, he decided he would re-nominate Julian Niels. And today, Julian Niels was confirmed in the United States Senate, and he will be a federal judge. Julian Xavier Niels of New Jersey is the first Biden-nominated judge to be confirmed since Biden has been president. So what's the takeaway there, right? Well, first, You guys, it took them 4.5 months to confirm the first Biden-nominated judge. 4.5 months. Trump got more than 230 judges onto the court in 4 years. And that's because the Republican-controlled Senate worked harder on that than they worked on anything else. It takes time and effort and prioritization of the calendar in the Senate to get judges confirmed. But during Trump's time in office, they absolutely stuffed Trump judges into every corner and crevice of every federal court in the country. Democrats are in control of the Senate now, and they've got a Democratic president, but they took 4.5 months to confirm Biden's first judge.